Good evening, new colleagues.
You can hear us all right, Ira?
Hi, Ira.
You can. I look forward to shaking your hand one day soon. Or one day Zoom.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you so much.
We over here in the
I'm
corner.
sorry I missed you last Wednesday.
You know, I got two hats I can do yet.
I got my times full.
Vicky, if I leave here without a hat, hit me with a bat.
Because now he's got two
Now
over
you
there.
heard that, right? I
Yes,
just
you
gave
over
you
there?
permission.
Don't be
Hi,
shy.
how are you doing?
My wife sings the frying pan, you can hit me with a bat.
Yes, we met at the, yes, at the dinner for Dr. Morris. Yes, good to see you again. Mary, yep.
Oh,
That's okay.
A cup of joy.
There's coffee, Mary.
Thank you.
Ira, did you get all Texas on us?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Did you get all Texas on us? Nice hat.
Yeah.
You enjoying your summer so far?
Yes, I am. So far, yes. I love summer.
Just for the record, no, actually, we're not in the meeting yet. 9:20 is my official downtime. I'm officially part-time at the other job, so I have Fridays and Saturdays off. Tuesdays I have to work, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life, finally. Woo! 12 more months to go, woo-hoo! Yep, yep.
How are you doing?
Just give everybody an
How's
update.
everything going?
Jim?
Good, good.
It's been a long 2006.
Come on, spend time with my family.
Actually,
Leo, how are you?
Hey, Maria, how are you?
Julio. We call him NASCAR.
Hot wheels.
Look at that, they didn't even give you a water?
I know, Julio, I'm so sorry because
God.
you always come with your own drink.
Well, did you want anyway? Give you everything else. You know, they might want food. Oh, you get the high end stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the club. Thank you.
Angie, another changes.
Well, I haven't forgotten, I owe you $15.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, I haven't forgotten, I owe you $15.
I always get lost on the paper copy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had forgotten too, but now I remember.
I had because I read
You're only getting younger, Paul.
and got me
That's
the
right.
unlimited.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I'm back.
Thanks for being honest about it, Lee. I appreciate that.
Of course.
And
Nice hat, Ira.
Thank you, Paul. I decided against the Yankees hat.
Well, you wouldn't want to show bias in a public meeting, would you?
I will, though.
Okay.
27 something.
It's gonna be like a food plus. Never got it.
There they are.
All right.
Here,
Let's try this again.
About time you slackers got on.
We're gonna call this 6:36. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is a moment for silent prayer or personal reflection. Thank you. Let's see, who do we got here? Kelly, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United
United
States
States of America,
the
to
Republic
the
for
republic
which it
for which it
stands,
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so this is the board reorg meeting, and I'm gonna look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Mary.
Second.
Julio, thank you.
Julia? Good.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, we're gonna administer oaths to our new board members. First up is Daniel J. Farnham.
No pressure at all.
Daniel, could you stand and raise your right hand, please? And recite your oath of office.
I, Daniel J. Farnham, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education Trustee according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Daniel. Welcome to the board. Now for Lee W. Filbert.
Could you stand and raise your right hand? Recite.
I, Lee Filbert, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education Trustee according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Lee. Welcome to the board. All right, at this time, I'm going to open up the floor for nominations for the position of president.
I make a motion for Paul Heston to be president.
Nomination made for Paul Hesney. Is there a second for that? Thank you, Kelly. Any other nominations? So all those in favor of Paul Hesney for president of the board?
Aye.
Andrew, I believe you have to take a roll call vote.
Oh,
Okay. You can.
No, that's what we normally do.
All right,
I'll do that.
I'll start down there with Julio then. Jim,
I gotta do an
Dan?
Aye.
Mary?
aye.
Lee? For what purpose?
I'm not sufficiently appreciated.
Okay. Thank you. Kelly? Ira?
No.
I vote aye. Paul?
Aye.
So we have 6-2, one abstain. All right, motion passes. Paul, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
What, Paul?
Does he have to,
He has to be sworn in. Can
I
you-
think I have to be sworn in, but I can't sign virtually.
okay,
And I would suggest Vicky or Andrew read the oath.
all right, we'll have Vicky read it to you.
Somebody will put an X on a paper.
Repeat after Vicky.
I, Paul Hessney,
I, Paul Hessney,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Board of Education President
of the Office of Board of Education President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Paul.
Yeah.
This meeting's yours from here.
All right.
You're the man, Paul.
Well, I don't know that since we don't have a vice president at this point, and I am not physically present, and for those who are not aware, I have a case of COVID, so obviously you don't want me there in the room with you.
We'll nominate somebody, don't worry about it.
Yeah, how about Andrew or Mary?
Well, you're running the things.
All right, I would designate Andrew until we have a vice president, and then at that time, I would like the vice president to chair the meeting.
All right, I can go ahead and open it up for nominations if that's your purview. All right, we'll now accept nominations for the position of vice president for the board.
Motion for Mary. We love you.
Thank you,
I'll
Jim.
second that.
Thank you, Paul. Any other nominations? We'll take the vote. Mary for vice president. Julio? Jim?
Sure.
Daniel?
Okay, can, one second. Can I do the roll call?
Yes.
Okay,
You have it.
Andrew,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Daniel,
Same reason they stated earlier.
Julio, Lee, Mary,
Aye.
Ira,
Aye, and thank you, Mary.
Kelly,
Aye.
Jim.
Sure.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mary.
Thank you.
By the way, it's very responsible of you guys to take that position if you felt you needed to have
Mary,
I was make sure no one signed off.
well, you could raise your right hand.
You didn't
and
need interest rate.
just make sure.
Yeah.
I, Mary Hershina, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office of Board of Education Vice President according to the best of my ability. Awesome.
Does that conclude the agenda of the reorg meeting?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
You want Mary to continue?
Yes, I would like Mary to continue.
All right, it's yours. That's right.
Okay, so I'm going to entertain a motion upon recommendation of Dr. Gillen to approve the following list of 2022
I'll motion.
reappointments. Thank you, Andrew.
Second.
Thank you, Ira. Is there any discussion? No? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. I now need a motion for the appointment of others.
Sure.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Julio. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sure.
Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? You're both abstaining? And your reason for abstaining is? Okay. Okay. So, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. You can see there's informational items. We're going to go on to our next meeting. I do need a motion to adjourn from this reorganization meeting. Thank you, Julio.
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Any discussion?
Mary,
Yes.
may I make a brief statement before we adjourn from the reorg meeting?
For what purpose?
For thank yous.
Okay. You certainly can say thank you. Whatever you'd like to say.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome Dan and Lee to the board. It's good to have a full board again, and I look forward to working with everyone. I also wanted to state that we have had in the past many accomplished presidents who have served the school district and the community during my tenure on the board. And I am now entering my 10th year. So just to mention some of these presidents, and they have all done an excellent job. That would be John Bartimol 2 times, Ira Katzenstein 2 times, Michiko McElfresh in my tenure 1.5 times, Lori Branch, and Mike Martello. Those are the names that I feel all deserve recognition. So, but before we move on to any other business, I would also like to acknowledge the indispensable hard work and contribution of our district clerk, Vicky Zaleski Irizarry. She has been the district clerk through all of these presidencies, and she continues, and she does much work behind the scenes. And I think it's time that we acknowledge her indispensable contribution.
I agree. Thank you.
Love you.
Don't
Don't ever retire.
All right, just before we move on, we've had a bunch of excellent presidents, but I feel that the last 2, because of circumstances, that would be Mary and Andrew, have gone above and beyond anything that anyone has been forced to do in the past. And I think the reasons are obvious, but COVID has dealt devastating blows to many school districts and many students and staff. And I just want to say that I feel privileged to be able to work with them, and to, as you may or may not know, the Lee and Dan, that we have an executive council which consists of the president, the vice president, and the immediate past president. So we will be a team once more next year. And that was one of our goals. So I know that everybody is missing Andrew terribly, that I understand that. I wish that he would have run again too, but he was tired. He had expended. Pardon me?
He had a long year, you know that.
It was.
Thank you.
Right.
By the way, thank you, Andrew, for your long year.
Right. Well, I just wanted to say that, I feel, as an ordinary guy, I feel privileged to work with two rock stars. Andrew is smart, he's organized, he's accurate, he's hardworking, and he looks like Blake Shelton. So everybody loves Andrew.
Alrighty, well, all
Yeah.
right, Paul, I agree, we all agree, he is,
Hey,
he's
Blake, how you
done
doing there?
he's done a
Thanks,
great
Paul.
job, Blake, thank you
All right.
for your hard work
I'll
and
get you,
effort.
I'll get you a
Now
guitar.
Blake wants to
when you
get out.
retire.
Yes, yes.
Right.
All right, thank you,
And
Paul. Thank you for-
Mary also is a rock star in my book, even though she might disagree with that. She has been a cheerleader in high school, but she is a leader on this board and in many other community endeavors, who brings energy, passion, organization, and intensity to all that she does. So I feel very fortunate to be working with them again for another year.
Awesome, we look forward to that too as well, correct, Andrew?
Yes, thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul, appreciate it. Appreciate all
Yeah,
those
and
supports.
one quick note
Okay, one
too.
quick thing, because we want to
Yeah,
adjourn, so we
we-
can move on to the next.
Right,
one.
I understand. I wanted to thank Dr. Gielan for all that she has done also.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, now
See her
there
a
we
little
got
bit longer.
Pat Benatar and.
She's not left yet. Pat, do you say
She's a rock star too.
Oh my God. All right, so thank you, Paul. And if there is nothing else, then I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
All
right.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? This meeting has ended and we're going to start our regular board meeting, okay? Okay. So bear with me as I get myself settled here. And I'm going to, everyone's ready, I'm going to call this meeting to order,
At 6.
6:54.
Yep.
And I'd like you to take a moment of personal reflection or say a silent prayer. Lee, we will have you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you don't mind.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of
flag
the United States of
United States of
America,
America,
and
and
to the republic for
republic
which
for
it stands,
that
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Would entertain a motion, to approve the agenda.
Sure.
Jim, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Any discussion?
I wanted to pull, agenda item, the.
Hey.
Let me find it.
Okay.
The
It's personnel,
coach recommendation.
letter E.
2022-23.
What page?
it's on
Five
page
of
5.
5 of 7.
Yep.
And 6 more recommendation.
Yes, I did.
What do we got going on executive session for or what?
Yeah, it would have to be a discussion in
Yeah.
executive session.
All right. All right.
So we will just go,
Are we going to do that?
yes. We're going to, so Jim, are you okay with amending your motion? If we're going to remove under personnel letter E. Andrew, are you okay with that? Okay. Is there any other discussion? Okay, then I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, that motion is carried. On to communications and commendations.
We just met a week ago, so.
We did, and I don't have any commendations
We
or
covered a lot.
communications, and I know that Dr. Gillen is not here this evening, so we will move on to public comment. And look at that, we're gonna move right on from public.
It's summertime.
There you go. See, Jim, right now, we're moving on from public comment. And so we're going to move on to number 4, which is discussion items, and we're going to start with student progress and the high school graduation rates from Mr. Andriano. Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me here, and thank you for speaking at graduation. It was very, very nice.
pleasure.
Paul,
Very
you're gonna
nice.
have to speak next year at commencement, so start now, getting your speech ready.
Yes.
I'm working on it already, Jeff.
I
There
thought
we
so.
go.
Tell him it can't be any longer. It can't be any longer than mine, Paul.
So, I was here.
What was that, about 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, just about.
On January 22nd of this year, I was, gave you some numbers for the projections for our graduation rate. And they were really close. We do have, we have 2 students that just kind of shut down on us in February, March, that we have a plan to get them graduated in August. So we're gonna have 5 August graduates instead of 3. But right now, what the graduation rate's looking like is 91%. So that
How
was
many kids?
there were 136, but
I
there'll be
remember the year
more.
we had like 70 something.
There'll be more when we have the August grad.
Right.
And
That's great.
probably the highlight of the year, though, really was just this. I haven't seen a number like this in a long time. We had 68 students with an advanced Regents diploma. That was very, very. That's helpful too for all the calculating the state does for their different reports and things like that. The advanced Regents diploma.
Can you tell us really quick, how do you achieve an advanced Regents diploma?
So
Maybe that would help us to
yeah,
understand.
absolutely.
Say that, but we may not.
The major thing is you have to pass chemistry and algebra too. So you need a science. Everybody needs the science. So it would either be biology or earth science. Normally not chemistry or physics would be their one. So you need a science, you need a math, which is usually algebra. Then they would go on to geometry and then algebra 2. And then that chemistry and algebra 2 are the basic.
Are the ones that move you up to the advanced. Now, how does that work with our students who got the exemption, who did not take those exams? Does the exemption just automatically give them that then?
Well, it would give them the Regents exam, but they still all took a final for the class.
Right,
and,
yes,
You know,
yes.
had to pass for the whole year.
Okay, so you have to pass the class and, yeah. I mean, I know we're not gonna probably look at that going forward, but there was a couple years in there where we had, where we got exemptions, I wasn't sure. how
Yeah,
that went.
absolutely. Yeah, this class had two.
Yeah, so is the senior class that's coming up here a little bit as well, some of them, so. Okay, so but they have to pass one additional Regents, either the chemistry or.
Both, they have to do both.
Did you get a certain score to have it be
65.
advanced? Just 65, it's not like.
There's also you could also have an
advanced
advanced Regents diploma with honors.
Is that 85?
So the honors is 85, but they did a different way of calculating it this year.
And they may do that this next
They
year.
use their local grades for their high school classes to do advanced Regents. And then you can have distinction in math and science as well.
I just know because the only math that Lily was able to take was algebra 1.
Yeah,
So she
yeah.
was exempted out of geometry and algebra 2, so. Yes, classes obviously,
Yeah.
but didn't get those Regents.
Well, she would have taken chemistry this year.
She did. She did. So, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
68, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
No, that's fine. So, that's a great number for us. And again, we're gonna have 5 students hopefully graduated in August. We've got a plan for them and
We're moving up, we wanna move up from 91%, right? We're always looking to move up, right?
So those 5 don't make up the full 9% that didn't graduate, correct?
Do we have an
They're
idea
not,
of the
so
programs?
these are still kind of floating numbers a little bit if you, because they don't close things out till August. So, those 5, when they get their work done and get their diploma, will actually help us. So,
Do we know what happened to those other kids who are not the 5? Or they just had fallen off?
I don't know which.
So 91% have graduated, so we have 9% that haven't. So if there's 5 students, like, what makes up that 9%?
Those
I'm assuming
students-
there's more than just the 5, there's probably a
Those
couple
students
more.
would have made a decision a year or
So
two
they've already
ago.
fallen off much earlier.
Yes.
Would they maybe come back this year and redo the year again, do you think? Okay, I didn't know.
I mean, they're probably, at the time, they were probably 17-year-old, 3 credits.
So let me just ask, where do we get the 91% from? Is that a cohort entering 9th grade? Or
Well, as you progress through, we've also had many students who have transferred in or out.
right,
So that was kind of what I talked about in January was, actually, I think the number was 216 or something like that of kids from 9th grade on had come in. So we had our hands on 216 kids, and after they transferred out, we had a certain number, right around 140, I think it was 146. So what would you like to?
no, I was just wondering, so
How we base our data?
Yeah, that's kind of how.
where's the number?
How do we
Is
figure out
it
that
for the
91?
entire year or for the time they're here?
So it's they start in 9th grade and they have 4 years to graduate.
So anybody that comes in their senior year for whatever reason,
Counts.
They would count, they would count,
toward
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so it's everybody that starts in 9th grade is the ones that we're counting now. So we got kids in from other schools, we may have got juniors or seniors in with very few credits. It was hard to piece something together for them. Those are definitely, we have cases of those. But it's the group of students that starts 9th grade.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, 100% is our goal. We hope to see 100%.
Okay.
Jeff,
So, but
It's even more complicated too, because they have a 5-year graduation rate, a 6-year graduation rate, and then they have 2 different ways of calculating
Yeah.
things for graduation rate. There's a lot
there's a lot that goes into it.
there really is.
Yeah. We'll take our 91%. I think
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah, I
Awesome. I'm sorry, Ira. Do you have a question? I'm sorry.
well, more of a comment. First being, it's not only a high number of children that are getting this advanced degree, it's also probably the highest percentage of children and graduates in a long time that are getting that advanced diploma. So kudos to everyone for making that happen. And I'll just leave it there. Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Andriano. We appreciate that. Now we're going to hear from our Jen Mahar here on phonemic awareness.
Hello, I have an update on our phonemic awareness program. It's a portion of our English language arts. And I want to give you some background on what we've been doing around phonemic awareness, which leads into phonics, and then also some progress that we've been observing over the course of the year. So if you're not familiar with it, phonemic awareness is the skill that's oral or auditory. It's the skills that a child would learn as they're learning about how words are made up. Often when they're practicing phonemic awareness skills, they're rhyming, they're learning about hearing for syllables, they're swapping out initial, medial, and final sounds. They're hearing about how words work and then getting to the point where they can manipulate those so the sounds could be swapped for other words. And all of this helps to be able to discriminate the sounds and be able to lead into phonics instruction, which helps them to develop their reading skills. So a strong phonemic awareness level predicts a strong reading score as they grow older because they have those foundational skills. So in this past year, as part of our rollout of ELA, and obviously always trying to continue to grow our ELA or our English language arts program, we moved into phonemic awareness as a regular instructional piece of our core instruction. So Jen Kless and Janelle Freer and all the classroom teachers that teach ELA in grades kindergarten, 1st and 2nd began using a program from Sadlier called From Phonics to Reading. and also began using Tucker Signs. These are core instruction programs that we have for all students in K1 and 2. And we actually added some into the pre-K as well, which I'll talk about in a second. But basically this regular classroom instruction between the Xavier component and the Tucker Signs is given on a regular basis in those classroom deliveries. And we also monitor at benchmark. So fall, winter, and spring, we take a benchmark score to be able to see how they're doing, monitor progress, see how our rollout is going, and make adjustments. So certainly with the impact of COVID on top of that, we knew that we had some students who might be needing some additional supports in those areas, and just the natural development of students generally has some intervention needs as well. So in addition to adding the core instruction, we also added an intervention this year called Haggerty Phonemic Awareness, and that's provided for students who are at an intensive level. If we find out that their benchmark score is significantly below where it should be, we would assign them to the Haggerty intervention, either provided by a Title I reading specialist or by a special education teacher, depending on their placement. So this benchmark information was used to help identify students who would benefit from the program. Once they began in the Haggerty intervention, they received these regular routines of lessons for 5 to 15 minutes a day from one of their teachers, and were able to consider what skills they were needing to focus on. We added the whole program in at pre-K, since the core program sadly doesn't begin until kindergarten. We added Haggerty at pre-K, and we also used the intervention for students in grades 3 through 5 for those students who were below where they should be with screening on phonemic awareness.
I have a question. How many of those kids actually get out of that?
Haggerty, I'm gonna give you some numbers here right with that. So this is our first year, and we'll continue to grow and figure out the best path for them, but we had some really good successes with them. So when we look at the benchmark data, we determine who might need some additional supports and start that process. They usually go through the intervention for about 6 weeks in order to give a chance to go through the routines, and then they're assessed again on a regular basis. So that Haggerty 6-week, what we call progress monitoring, and the regular benchmarks that everyone receives are used to help determine if we have the right fit for students receiving interventions. So we might have students coming in or out of the program.
Quick question, the benchmark, is that in-house or is it third-party examinations?
It's a paper pencil that the teacher administers, and actually because it's oral, the teacher would sit. There is a paper portion for the benchmark, but the Haggerty is all just listening and speaking. So as those students come in and out of program based on their needs, we're able to consider whether we have the best fit for them for that intervention piece. And certainly as we roll out a new program in the core, there's things to learn, there's ways to be more consistent, to get stronger on as teams work together. And certainly that's something that you continue to work on over time and monitor how that's going. But I wanted to share some of the benefits that we saw in this first year between the two programs together that helped our students who are most intensive move out of most intensive. The target for the year progresses, so it's not like it's a stagnant target all year. It actually, it grows with what they are expected to be able to do by the end of the year. And for students in grades K2, from their fall benchmark to their spring benchmark, the percentage of students at their intensive level decreased from 24% in the fall to 14% in the spring, which is significant for that change. And then of the students who are receiving the Haggerty intervention in the winter benchmark, at that intensive level in grades K through 5, including those that were significantly below in 3 through 5, 48% of those students in K2 and 60% of the overall students were able to progress out of the intensive intervention. Some of those students at particularly the kindergarten level were able over the course of the year to move from intensive, the lowest level in the fall, all the way up to the proficient or the green level in the spring. So what we'll be doing over the course of the next years is continuing to monitor that, make sure we identify them soon enough, make sure we keep them in the programs that they need long enough, and determine how we can help move students along to that proficient mark as best that we can.
So for the kids that, what can we do for them?
Sure, so some of it's getting better, some of it, so for example, if a student is just below where they should be for proficient, it's called an in-class support level. It's that mid-range where some extra help from the classroom teachers provided. And so we continue to reinforce and to learn how best to provide that small group instruction from the classroom teacher. And then also same with the students who work with the reading specialist or the special education teacher, continue to make sure we have the best fit for that Haggerty and to see that they're growing. And this represents tremendous progress for the first year of implementation. So we want to just make sure that we're continuing to tweak it and adjust it to make sure that continues.
And our goal is for how many years or?
So Haggerty, or I'm sorry, phonemic awareness in general is focused around pre-K, K, and 1. They should have those skills by the time they leave first grade in order to be ready to be fully focusing on phonics in second and above.
If I may, so, you said 68% from the total number of K through 5 had advanced out of the intensive.
60.2.
60.2. Okay, and, is there any anticipated fall off of the summer for that? Is that they can do?
Generally, that takes place, and we always start again with a new benchmark in the fall to make adjustments for that. And that's not specific to phonemic awareness. If they're not reading over the summer or just, there's time away from a regular routine, that's a normal process that we have to adjust for every fall.
So if we're talking about like early intervention stuff, I think about something that we didn't quite catch them having dyslexia. I guess they would consideration stuff.
So some of these screening processes will help with that. Some of it's providing that early experience more consistently. So for example, by bringing the Haggerty into the pre-K, there are families who may not be doing nursery rhymes at home, as their kids are little. This is adding that component into it consistently so that we're helping to make sure they have some of those background experiences and are able to have some of those skills that they might not have from home for a variety of reasons. But then also continuing to screen and monitor for if students aren't responding in the core instruction to see where they might need extra help.
Reading is fundamental. Early reading was first, Dibbles, and now this. It's critical to teach reading, critical.
So does the program go through 5th grade? I mean, there was some numbers included.
Sure, so I included K2 is everything. K2 is the focus that we have right now for the benchmarks, because that's what the program is designed for core instruction, because typically they should be developing out of that. What the Haggerty intervention provides is called Bridge the Gap, which allows us to tailor what a student might need. So whereas a younger student might need all of 8 subsets and practice in those skills, a 3rd or 4th grader might need 2. And so we can tailor and adjust the intervention to the pieces that they need. And then we continue to check to make sure that they gain those. Thanks, Jen. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Again, thank you so much. We're going to move on to letter C, which is policy review. Got a couple new policies. The first one was number 7540, which was our suicide. That was our first time reading through. Is there any discussion on that?
I think
Ira, sorry.
the policy at a minimum needs to reference our employee assistance program. It's a critical resource should we face this sort of situation, and I hope we never do.
I thought this policy was not geared towards employees though, and geared towards our students.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
I
I'm trying
didn't
to get
read
to it
this as
because
it being geared towards employees at all.
Yeah, usually that's regarded for where your current work situation is.
yeah,
Normal.
I looked at it as students too.
That may be, but the EAP is still a wonderful resource, and staff will be affected. I think Dr. Gieland may have something to say about that kind of situation as well.
Yeah, I agree, Ira. We talk about the national, lifeline and the hotline, but we could certainly put in the information about that too as well. Was there any other discussion? Did anybody, guys, if you had the policy, any other thoughts?
I really hate the name.
I know, I do too.
Can we change that?
Yeah,
Let's call it suicide prevention and response or something like that.
I don't like the title of it either. I mean,
need like a prevention or something.
Prevention
Yeah.
and response, because it's
Respond, because
post-intervention.
it is,
Awareness prevention.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like the title of it either. I just got it and I opened it up and I was like,
Suicide,
yeah.
suicide, it was like, ugh, right there.
At least we knew what it was about.
Yeah, well, we did, yes.
I like that. Awareness, prevention, and response.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to vote on this today, but.
No, we don't. No, this is just our first look at it, so. Anything else? Well, again, it's just our first look, so, we will bring it, forth. Ira, thank you for your.
Yes, can you hear me, Mary?
Yes, Paul, we can hear you.
I think that we may have discussed this before, but nomenclature can by itself be a trigger. You know, not that we have a lot of students reading our policies, but I don't know how other people feel about soft pedaling the name suicide prevention, because as you said, suicide just jumps right out at you there.
Yeah.
You know, we might call it self-harm prevention, because
Suicide.
I think that that's really what we're talking about.
No, I think
No.
suicide is a stickler because it's what it's supposed to provide.
Right.
And self-harm
Self-harm is
is
something
completely different
else.
from suicide.
I mean, it does, you know, it does say in that.
First word isn't suicide.
You know, it does talk about self-harm in the policy, but, so definitely the title is something we wanna look at, make that clear.
You don't wanna sugarcoat it
Yeah.
too much. Because the idea is.
Right.
All right.
But that's just.
Yep. Okay, well, that's great. We've got some things we can, yep, and we can improve upon. So, yeah, I can see it now.
I don't.
Yes,
think
they
it's
got
gone.
nothing to do.
It hasn't gone out.
Yeah, we never saw it in operations, just so you know.
Yeah, this
so,
is new.
Yeah, yes. So, okay, is there anything else? I don't wanna leave anybody else out. If anybody else has a comment?
Are the list of members that would make up this intervention team, are those all already employed within the district, or are there gonna be opportunities here? We have to hire out.
We outsource too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still working on like social worker. We don't have one on staff yet, but it's, we're working on hiring a social worker. Yeah. School safety professionals, everybody else other than the social worker. We do have on staff.
Anything else? All right, so we will send that back and work on some better subject title names and, you know, the EAP, like Ira mentioned, we'll talk about that too as well. How about the second policy that we referenced, which is 5684, which this is now our second look at this, the use of surveillance cameras. I know that when we looked at it at our last meeting, we were talking about the audio portion of it, and I thought Dr. Gillum was going to look into that for us.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten the answers.
Okay.
That we
We
were
haven't,
looking
and
for.
it's on here to adopt this one later in this meeting.
I know.
Probably should have asked to pull that at the beginning too, because it's
Yeah.
not here to answer.
And there's a question as to whether or not we should have audio everywhere.
Okay.
I think we can come back to just table that when it comes up.
Take that one off too until we have the audio.
Yeah, because it's obviously still in there, and I didn't hear anything different yet.
The only place we have audio is on the buses.
On the buses.
There's no other places where we have audio recording for video surveillance. It's just on the buses.
I think the real question.
I might ask the safety committee, if I could, what the recommendations of the safety committee are concerning cameras with audio.
Is that what you were talking about, Jim?
Yeah, because that's, you're talking about a really touchy violation. Okay, we want to be state, maybe get every bit of information. On the bus is okay. Everywhere else, I think it's discretionary up to administration or the board on whether they want to make their policy. But really doesn't set too well with me. If we can have audio, then everybody's gonna think everything is recorded, and we don't need to go down that road.
No, and it definitely says in there that any audio recordings will not be utilized by the district officials,
Yeah,
so,
but,
you know, that's a question, do we,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, which is the point that I was making, is why would we be audio recording if we're not using it? We shouldn't be audio recording at all.
that's.
I mean,
Well, it could be turned over to the law enforcement system.
but why bother recording it? For law enforcement purposes?
Because anybody can take this out of context.
Because we,
any
and
given way.
also, we don't say anywhere in there that we will keep these tapes for any certain period of time, so law enforcement might just happen to get lucky that we have the tape, or they might not, because it may have been recorded over, and nobody will tell even us
No.
how long those tapes go before they're recorded over. So
Because all of them are
honestly, it
different
doesn't,
too, so the cameras are different.
yeah, every
depending on
single
where they
camera
are.
has a different time frame for when they re-record over it, so.
Keep in mind, we buy our cameras at different time periods.
Sure.
The whole project.
I mean,
So
I get why they're all different, I'm just saying,
Sure,
if everything's gonna be different and we're not keeping it, why have it at all?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
these are
think
the same
we-
questions that we asked the
still
last
have
time it
those
came up,
same
so I think
So
we
we
should
need
just,
to get the answer.
we'll do a
We
third
will
reading
not
and
vote
table the
on that.
motion
We'll-
later. Yeah.
We'll get more information from, Dr. Gillen.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Board report, I looked at Andrew, did you see how quickly I looked at that for the board?
My report was that we just met a week ago.
Report,
so-
yeah, so,
There you go.
and, Paul, anything that you'd like to add as,
Well,
keep
I
it brief?
decided on not adding something tonight because for time factors, we'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Got it, okay.
Good job, Paul.
Perfect, thank you. And, we don't have a superintendent's report, correct? Because our superintendent is not
Unless you
here.
left something with somebody, but. no,
Did she leave
nothing.
something with
Okay,
anybody? No?
all
Well,
right,
how about that?
that helps.
So we will move on to the very short consent agenda. Can someone give me a motion for that, please?
Sure.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Can I have a second?
I will second.
Andrew, thank you so much.
Just a point of order, if I could. I'm not sure that that sure is actually an appropriate way to make a motion or to second a motion. I know that is Jim's habit, but
Yeah, we'll look into that.
I think it's kind of borders on rude, actually. And if not rude, a bit too casual. So I'd like to see him clean that up.
I'll take it under consideration, Paul.
Make a motion, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Thank you. All right, is there any discussion on the consent agenda? No, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. So we move on to, gotta get to it, sorry, I gotta turn my page here. All right, so we're gonna move on to 8, which is new business. You need a motion to approve Dr. Gielen's
Yep, I'll make a motion.
Okay, oh, thank you, Andrew.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Paul. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we,
Just that I believe that this is what we had discussed, and I don't see anything, basically what we had discussed, and I don't see anything to prevent us from going forward here.
no, no, I agree. So I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion is carried. We also have our business administrators contract. May I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Jim. And, oh, okay, was that Ira?
Yeah.
I'll give it to Ira and seconded by Jim. Thank you so much, Jim, for that. Is there any discussion?
Yes. There's still some typos in this contract that need to be. It's still referencing Colleen Taggy.
I sent that message. Did you guys see that?
I saw that and I read through it, and I don't even know why it references her at all, because Jenny never worked here with her.
No,
So
does
why
that
it's in
have
the
to be in
contract
there
at all,
that
I'm not
she's,
sure.
that upon her, retirement, that the board gave 60 days to the sick leave? Is that the reason why it's referenced in there? Is it referenced on everyone's contract? I didn't think I had
I
noticed
didn't
that
see it
before.
in Aaron,
I didn't-
and he's listed as part of that particular sick.
I didn't either, but I didn't see that section, quite honestly, on his either.
For the next meeting?
No.
I mean, I don't wanna not approve
No,
the
I don't
contract
want to
because of
either.
typos, but I'd like to see clean contracts come out of our lawyers.
Right. I would like to see that
That's
too.
an awful lot of money.
Quite honestly.
I don't-
Pay them well.
I think there's some additional corrections that the attorneys made that I'm not seeing on the draft that's online.
So the one that is online is incorrect, but Dr. Geelan sent us another
She
copy,
sent us a different
and
one.
that is also incorrect.
Yes, that's got some,
She emailed a second copy and it was not.
So say table this for the next meeting. Ish.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a second copy. It didn't show specifically what was supposedly changed between one to the other.
I don't
so
know
I
either.
can't say for sure that it was anything different, but she did send another one saying there were typos and here's the new one. But then we found more typos, so.
it's in Article
Under the
2.
sick thing,
Yeah, Article 2, the sick bank, letter B.
I mean, I would assume that, I don't understand why it would reference her leaving. Yeah, upon the effective retirement of Dr. Colleen Taggerty, the board will credit the bank with 60 sick days. Assuming that's been done since she's been retired.
I know, I
since
just didn't know
before
why
you
we
were
have to
here.
keep
I don't
putting
know
that
why
in.
How did we miss that? I mean, well, we didn't miss it. How did that not
It's just
get?
the wording to show how the sick bank was established, because prior to that, there wasn't
Okay.
a sick bank, is my
Okay,
understanding.
So
there wasn't a
reference point.
sick bank for,
For the
your-
non
the managerial confidential
administrators.
administrators.
It seems to me the point in contention is immaterial.
What was that? What'd you say, Ira? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
I'm
that.
not, it just, while there may be a dispute about the wording of a particular paragraph, it doesn't change the fact that we want to renew Jenny's contract and it's
No,
material.
it doesn't, and we don't want to not do that, but we'd like to see clean contracts, in all honesty, because we do pay quite a bit of money to our attorneys, and
Oh,
this is not the
absolutely.
first time we've seen, contracts that have come back haphazardly, like, put together. And I just think the expectation should be, better.
I think the greater question would be, do you mind if we redo the contract appropriately and wait on this for the next meeting?
Yeah,
Or do we want to approve it and then make the changes?
Well, normally I would require MOA or MOU or something or
No.
whatever.
Just approve it with
the amended
contract.
I mean, I'm okay with doing that. I don't want
Yeah,
to hold that up either, but I just, for Jenny's benefit, I just wanted
Yeah,
to,
well-
I wanted to read.
I
And if
think
there are
we're
some
seeing
changes
clean
that you don't
contracts,
even
so that
see
the
in
next
there.
time we have to approve a contract.
I mean, you
we
shouldn't have
also
to even
clean.
answer that question.
I
Should've
think
been all right.
content-wise, we can go ahead and move forward with it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. No problem with that. It's just how it's written up. It's sloppy.
I just think you guys need to make sure that you know for sure the version that you're approving, because the version
I
that's
don't-
online.
We should wait till the next meeting, and I fully apologize that this did not get done right.
Well, I
Because I think you're
Be-
approving the
Because
version
the lawyers,
publicly
should,
online.
they're getting
Am I right
paid.
now?
All right.
yeah, we've got, she sent to us final 7/5/22. I just don't know, would've been nice if I
Sure
could
that
have
was
printed them
Vicky.
off.
I didn't receive that.
Let's just
yeah,
wait.
if I
Make a motion
could,
to table.
Let's just wait. wanna be the.
I want to make a motion to table this,
And the next contract too, or not?
one at a time.
One at a time, okay.
Yeah, let's
Second.
just, we're,
All right,
Okay,
Julio
Julio.
seconded that.
okay. Who made the motion?
I did.
Oh, Andrew, sorry.
Motion to table.
Julio
Julio
And
second.
Julio
Don't listen to me,
second.
don't listen.
Okay, all right.
I think if I could say something here, we all understand that we want to renew Jenny's contract, but we also don't want to condone or endorse sloppiness in language and, to Kelly's point. So,
Yeah, we're just,
Get it squared away.
That's why we're.
right,
doing it.
let's get it squared away.
okay, so we've got the motion to table this and we'll get everything straightened out, make sure it's perfectly the way it needs to be. Is there any other discussion? If not, I'm gonna call for the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, we'll table that. Now we're on to letter C, which is the Director of Human Resources.
Motion to table that contract as well.
It also has.
I'll second that.
Okay, all right, so, thank you, Jim. And Andrew seconded it. We're gonna table that one too, and just make sure we get everything cleaned up on
I'll
that.
say this one's typos are actually worse than Jenny's.
Yeah.
Yes, this one has
Yeah, it's,
number discrepancies.
Right.
yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, well, all right, so we're gonna table that. We'll get everything straightened out.
Yeah, generally there was no real issues. It's just,
No,
it needs to be cleaned up.
There's a written number, a written out number, and then a number,
They don't
and
match.
they're not the same.
They don't
Yeah.
match.
Yep, we'll get it fixed.
So, okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we'll make sure we get that straightened out. Now we're on to policy adoption, and I think we're going to.
I'll make a motion to table that one pending clarification.
Second.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, we're on a roll.
Yes, and we've already kind of discussed that, so I'm just gonna call for the vote. All those in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, that motion is carried, thank you. Now we're on to number 9, which is personnel. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Logan Webster, a teacher aide.
So moved.
Thank you, Jim.
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. I need a motion to accept the retirement resignation of Deborah Kwiatkowski with deep regret.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Any discussion?
Just that we've lost another veteran person on our staff, and Deb Kwiatkowski lit up the Washington West and IJN and at every school that she worked for the last 20 years. So I just want to thank her for her service.
Thank you, Paul.
Nice job, Paul.
Yes, very nice, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. We have I need a motion to accept the resignation of Barbara Kelly, an ELA teacher. Who was that?
So moved.
Jim? All right, Jim, I'll second, get your second, Paul.
Okay.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. I also need a motion to accept the resignation of Fawn Scott, special education teacher.
So moved.
Thank you, Andrew. Second?
Really, they was? Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope.
That's not.
Not yet.
My bad.
It's okay.
Second.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelly. Any discussion? Okay, all those,
Table a resignation.
My thing's too big here,
I
and
wanted
I
to
got
say
it wrapped
they had
around.
we're gonna table that.
I'm bad.
Table that resignation.
Take-
Sorry.
You're not retiring, you're not retiring.
I will call for the vote. Now I can't even think what I'm thinking.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Nice and everything.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. We did remove letter E. So I will move on to F, which is our extracurricular. recommendations. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Paul.
Second,
Ira, thank you. Any discussion?
Just thank you for serving again and again at long hours and perhaps decent compensation, but you know, they deserve our deep thanks.
All right, any other discussion? Yeah, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is carried. We have a summer school appointment for up to 100 hours.
Sure.
Thank you, Jim. And I need a second. Is there any discussion on that? No?
I think we had a bit of discussion on this concerning the duties and what they were.
Yeah, I believe, what was going on? I unfortunately missed the gender review meeting because I came at the wrong time. So I think the only one that was you there was Andrew.
I was there.
I came at
And
4.
I think
It
we've
was
got
over.
that squared away.
Okay,
You think? Don't do that.
I believe
Word is.
word
we've
is
got it
that
squared away.
we have that, yes, at least for this summer. So, so I guess we're,
Our start date is what, July 11th?
Correct.
yes.
Or
Right, not to be nitpicky here, but is Mr. Lasky present?
No,
nope,
You
got an email.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable approving this. You know, I know we need to, well, I guess we can't not approve it since summer school starts immediately, or maybe it started today. I'm not really sure.
not till July 11th.
Next week, Bob.
Yeah, July 11th, excuse me. So that will be before our next meeting. So I think we need to approve this, but perhaps review it and perhaps invite Mr. Lasky to come and explain his duties, because there have been some questions, and, you know, in a very casual,
We can certainly follow up
non-threatening
with the
manner.
superintendent.
Leland to get us what the job description is for this particular, and just let that be.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's,
Yeah.
that's.
I
Follow up with the
assume we have a job
superintendent.
description on this.
I would
and
hope
it's
that we do, yes.
yeah, I am not comfortable asking Mr. Lasky to come in,
Yeah, it's a job of the superintendent, Paul.
I think we can get
a recommendation.
from her.
I've already sent her a message, so. Okay, well, we're gonna go forward with the motion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we will get the information first. And the information on our next board meeting is in 2 weeks on July 19th. Is there a need to go into executive session?
Apparently.
Apparently, there is. That's right, sorry.
Yes, it's a personnel
Come
thing.
on, let's get on the game, Mary.
All right, so
For
it's
personnel.
personnel reasons.
It won't take long with Dr. Elam not here, so.
Right.
Is there anyone that we need to invite in to the meeting?
Maybe Aaron?
Aaron?
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's good. I think that would be sufficient. Okay, and so, Kelly, are you making that motion? Okay, and I just need.
yes, I motion.
I will second.
And thank you, Andrew. The time I have is what, 7:40?
Oh, we got coffee.
Okay. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion is carried.
Do we expect any action after executive session? No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think there'll be any action after this.